I used to end every single day completely exhausted, not from the work though. It was from deciding 100 plus micro decisions before noon. And I know as a CEO, we're supposed to love a decision, but like, girl, I felt like I was running a browser with like 47 tabs open and wondering why I couldn't think straight. And the fix had nothing to do with discipline. It actually had to do everything with architecture. And so I'm going to teach you how to fix this in four quick steps. And it has nothing to do with discipline. I just didn't want to change my schedule, my team, my offer, and restructure everything. I needed something that would actually support my business and my architecture for where I was going. If you don't know me or you're new here, my name is Rebecca. I help female coaches and consultants install what I call profit architecture. It's an infrastructure system that takes you from 20K months to 100K plus months without running your nervous system into the ground. Plus, I'm on a mission to create 50 female millionaires from a person that really didn't have opportunity once upon a time. I want to give as much opportunity out there to other female founders. So if you're headed that direction, stay with me. Let's dive into this. So, here's my context really. Before I built Rise, Rain, Roll, I was in finance for about 7.5 years. Cold market, 80 to 90 hours per week, no referral network, actually no family support. I opened a phone book and literally started with the A's. I became my office's top producer and broke records that stood for over 65 years. And it wasn't because I actually worked harder. It was because I figured out that a decision made once can shift your entire business entirely. Now, that framework translated directly into every business that I've built since. And this is that framework. So let's dive into it. The first thing, though, that I have to admit is that I had to admit that I wasn't tired from the work. I was tired from the deciding. And there's a big difference because we oftentimes get to the end of the day and we're like, I am exhausted. And when you really stop to think about it, we're like doing a desk job. So it doesn't really make any sense. Okay. But when you eliminate 90% of the decisions that you are making constantly, something shifts. You have more energy, you've got more clarity, and critically, you're making better strategic choices because when your brain isn't running on empty, you stop saying yes to things that are not right for you, whether it's wrong clients or wrong situations. You actually start seeing your business. But first, let me show you actually why you're drowning in decisions in the first place. So, your brain actually operates like a phone battery. Every decision that you make actually drains a percentage of that battery. And most of us don't actually realize how many decisions that we're making before 10 a.m. because we're used to being everything for everybody at every single time. And so, walk through a typical morning with me. You wake up and maybe you check your DMs first, and then you check your email. You've already made three decisions in that process. Do I check my Instagram or my email? Which one do I want to go to? This isn't even conscious. Okay. And then you are looking at those things and you're deciding preemptively, like, really, what do you want to respond with in each of those? What do I post today? Should I post today? Should I change this up? Look at that, how that other person's doing this thing. And so, how do I handle the sales objection? Before 10 a.m., you're probably making 20 to 30 decisions without you even thinking an iota about it. By 3 p.m., you've made 80 to 100 decisions easy. Okay. And here's the science behind why this matters. Your brain actually uses 20% of your entire body energy. Now, a lot of times we don't realize how much we are thinking, especially as female CEOs, because we're juggling family and dynamics and life and friends and style and working out and name all of the things here, really. I mean, and so thinking is expensive, deciding is expensive. Now we're very well aware that deciding is expensive. Okay. And we make the best next decision that we possibly can at all times. But here's where it really costs you. Okay. Decision fatigue doesn't just make you tired. Okay. It doesn't just wear out the battery, it makes you impulsive. So that's why when your brain is at decision fatigue, it says yes to the client at 5 p.m., not because you actually want to, it's just because you're too depleted to actually think clearly. And so most People, most of my clients that I work with, they think that this is a time management problem, but it's not. It's actually a decision architecture problem. Okay, so this is where the insight changes everything for me, at least in finance and coaching and consulting and building riser and rule. There are two types of decisions. There are strategic decisions where they're made once, they're very high impact, like should I change my offer, right? Should I hire this person? Should I raise my prices? Okay, those are strategic decisions. Operational decisions, they're made repeatedly. Okay, they're low impact, like an SOP flow, or how do I respond to this DM, or what do I charge this person, or when should I post, right? But here's the trap. Okay, most of us are treating operational decisions like strategic decisions every single day. And that's an infrastructure problem, not a willpower failure. And this is really important to recognize, because when we are so used to being everything to everybody at every time, it feels like we should be able to do that for ourselves as well. And that's not really a fair expectation, because if this is draining at 20% and the rest of your body still needs 80%, where are you getting that extra juice, girl? Like, I would like to know. And it's not drugs. Okay. So that's where, the fix is actually really simple, because it requires discipline and execution, but it's a lot of clarity in the ways that we click in. And that dopamine shift is really thoughtfully impactful. So, for example, if I'm in strategic decision making, you make them thoughtfully, but you do them rarely. Operational decisions, you make them once, you turn them into rules, and it's moving for you. Now, a rule is a pre made decision, basically, it's a standard. And when I was in finance, the market would be up and down, and your emotions are up and down. And you have to have certain principles of action or rules so that your brain doesn't engage too much. It just follows the rule, because otherwise emotion can sway you pretty substantially. So let me actually dive into like what this looks like in practice, because when you are creating decision elimination, there are four steps that I use that I install into every client inside of profit architecture. So step one is you want to audit your decision making for 1 week. Just carry a note in your phone. Okay. Every time you make a decision, and this is actually really hard to do, log it. Don't judge it, just capture it. By the end of the week, you're going to see a a fraction of all the decisions, because you're not conscious of many of them. But the ones that you're conscious with, you'll have a list of 50 to 100 plus decisions. Okay. And most women I work with are shocked by what's actually on that list. That's step one. Okay. Step two is identify what's actually repetitive. Okay. So go through the list, really assess it, and mark every decision that you've made before. Where, like, if you've made it more than twice, it's a target for you. Okay. Have I made that exact decision before? If the answer is yes, then it becomes a rule. If the answer is no, it stays a strategic decision. Okay. Deal? Now, step three is you create clear rules using one format. So when X happens, I do Y. That's it. No wiggle room. It's simple. And here's what that looks like across like maybe a real coaching business as an example. So for DMs, I respond to all DMs within about 2 hours during business hours, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. After hours, I'm responding the next morning. Decision is made, period. And so pricing, my price is, I don't know, 6,000. No exceptions. Payment plans are available, or decision is eliminated. Okay. Now it gives a lot of peace, because now you're not switching it for each person. A sales call, to book a call, you complete the intake form, watch a VSL first, and referrals get to skip the VSL. Decision eliminated, done. Okay. But that allows for you to have a lot more peace. Like, imagine if your content, where it's structured and it's pre-decided. So, like, for example, like maybe Mondays are client wins, Tuesdays are maybe educational, and Friday is like behind the scenes. Great. That decision is completely eliminated. It allows you to have a lot of peace. Refunds. I could do this all day. Requested within 30 days and processed immediately. No questions asked. Wish them well. Decision eliminated. Toodaloo. no emotion to override that. Now, notice the pattern. These are all decisions that you're probably making fresh every single time. And it exhausts yourself because it's not only the 20% of the brain space that we need, it's also the emotion. It's also what's happening in the day. It's also these other layers. And all of a sudden, you have a sandwich of shiitake mushrooms and you don't want that. Okay. Maybe you do want that, but like it's not what you want all the time. Okay. Step four. The fourth part of this is incredibly important. You want to document your rules. One Google Doc organized by category, sales, content, operations, client management, updated quarterly. This becomes basically your operation manual. It becomes the foundation of delegation and clarity, and your assistant actually knows like how to win with you if you have an assistant. If you don't have an assistant, you are preparing yourself and your business to actually have one. Okay. Now, here's the thing where most people fail with us. Okay. And it's worth naming this directly. You will create the rules and then someone will push back. Somebody will say, well, can you do 4,000? And you'll feel this pull to accommodate because you've been having so much stability that you might be tempted to it. And here's what I learned in finance: the moment that a rule becomes a suggestion, it requires a decision again. And you're right back to where you started. So rules are absolute, not because you're rigid, but because they're protecting your energy for the decisions that actually pay you to move your business. And so like I like to think about this as like a moat to the castle. Okay. When the prospect says 4,000, my answer is no, my price is 6,000 or whatever it is. I do have a payment plan if that's helpful. Full stop. The rule decides, you just deliver. I think that being able to state those rules with confidence and not an apology is the space that we are in to begin to create this proactive decision making that women are paid equally in this arena. And we can command that. And so being able to begin to express this not as an apology, but a directness allows us to really take up space intentionally. This is the area that we command equal pay. This is the area that we hold boundaries on our time. I have availability on Tuesday at 2 p.m. or Thursday at 10. Which one works best for you? Not the I'm so busy and is Tuesday okay? Maybe structure this communication with credibility and really take up space or review it quarterly. Rules evolve with your business, and that's natural. So, setting a 90-day calendar reminder to say, like, hey, are those rules still serving you? If the answer is no, update it. And then train your team on these rules so that once you hire, your rules become their operating system. And your VA, like I said earlier, knows the DM process. Your sales rep knows the pricing rule. And this makes delegation actually work. So automate where you can set Calendly to show Tuesday and Thursday. And now the rule actually reinforces itself if that's when you're available. Now, let me show you like real contrast on this. You wake up, and let's say this was before you wake up and you like check your DMs, you check your emails, you see a prospect asking about a price, and you're spending 10 minutes thinking about how I want to respond. You hop on a content call, maybe unprepared because you hadn't decided what to post. You take a client at a discount and it's 5 p.m. and you're exhausted and underpaid, ending the day having made 100 plus decisions and moved literally nothing forward strategically. Bippity boppity after you wake up, DM response window doesn't open till 9 a.m. Rule. Client asked for a discount. Your answer's already, you're already decided. Takes 30 seconds. Rule. Content for the week is structured by category. You're literally just executing, or your team is executing, or it's pre-scheduled. Rule. Sales call ends with a clean yes or no. Rule. Your intake is a process and it's filtered for quality. Rule. Period. By 3 p.m., you've made fewer than 10 decisions, and every single one of them is one that actually matters. That's the difference. And this is how I built Rise, Rain, Roll from nothing into a business that has produced five female millionaires. And one of my clients, she's not directly a millionaire yet, but she manages over 55 million in client revenue. not by grinding harder, but by building systems that actually make grinding unnecessary. And the decisions I make now are the ones that actually serve my full capacity. Everything else just runs on rules. Okay. So here's the 4 step system. I just want to recap this really quickly. Step one, audit your decisions for a week, capture everything as much as you can. Step two, identify what's actually repetitive. If you decided more than twice, it's a target. Try to get it off of there. Step three, create rules. When I do X, I do Y, and apply them across sales, content, operations, and client management. Step four, document all of these in one place. Review it quarterly, train your team, automate it where it's possible. And the result is that you end up having fewer than 10 decisions per day. And every single one of them really are the ones that are actually going to matter. So if you're a female coach or consultant, shameless plug here, maybe you're doing 10 to 30K a month. Maybe you're exhausted from every decision that you're doing yourself. And this is exactly what we've built inside Profit Architecture. It's not just decision rules, but it's actually full infrastructures of SOPs and KPIs and client systems and pricing models that let you scale without burning down. So there's a link in the description for you to book a call. No hard sell, just a conversation about where your business is, really where you want it to be. Here's the difference. We don't have like sales people. We have business strategists. So you're probably a coach or consultant, and bringing your mental energy back into the building is something that requires structure instead of it running on you. So the link is there. If you just love this content and you are here because it landed, drop a comment with a decision, maybe, or what else you'd love to hear about. I read every single one, and if you want to subscribe, it'd really, really meaningful for me, just to see that this is helpful for other women that are building a business that doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to. So, if nothing else, I'll see you in the next one. Make it rain, Queen.